Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to my green card story. Today, I'm I'm going to interview someone special. This lady, a cyber security professional, filed for EB2-NIW in July 2023. She decided to use the normal processing, and her application was approved in May 2024. So it took about 1 year. However, what makes her application special is the fact that she has very little work experience, just 2 years. And also, as at that time, she just finished her master's program. So for people in the technology space that are thinking about, oh, don't want to file for EB2-NIW, but they don't know how to put their petition together and their application in general together, you need to watch this video. Thank you so much. So now let me introduce my guest to you. Please, Miss Omotola, can you introduce yourself to the audience?
Hi, everyone. I'm Motola. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to say, but yes, I am Omotola, and I did get to experience working with my green card story, and it was a very successful one.
Yeah,
It's
thank you. Thank you for that. And I'm sure almost all of you know my name. I may not say it enough, but my name is Bobola, and I'm with my green card story. At my green card story, we help prospective EB1A and EB2 applicant to draft the petition cover letter for EB2-NIW and also EB1A. So if you are interested in our service, kindly reach out to us through our website, www.mygreencardstory.com, or through our email, info@mygreencardstory.com. Okay, Ms. Omotola, can you shed more light into your background? Can you tell us more about your educational background, your work experience, and your expertise?
okay. In terms of my educational background, I came into this country to study information technology. And while I was there, I was in between data science and cybersecurity. So I got to experience like half and half in both of them. And in terms of my experience, I did have like a 1 year experience in this field in Nigeria before coming here, where I got to experience like, I had like I did work as a research assistant in school, so it gave me a bit of an experience. And after that, I got a job after school, which kind of helped a lot with the extra 1 year experience post college.
Okay, so what year did you get to the US?
I got into the US 2020. That was the year of COVID.
Okay.
That was COVID.
Okay.
So it was
I,
a
I,
yeah.
and when did you finish your masters?
I finished my program 2021 December. That
Okay.
was I finished
Uh,
2021 December.
okay. So now you finished in 2021 December. When did you decide to file for EB2 NIW? What year and
I
month?
filed 2023
Okay.
July was
Okay.
when I filed for it
Yeah.
2023.
So why did you wait until 2023, July 23, before you filed for your EB2
So the thing is,
NIW?
I've been hearing this EB2 stuff, but I was like, I wasn't sure of what I had because I heard that you had to have like a PhD, you need to have written like so many books and all of all that, and I didn't have that experience. So I kept on saying, I don't think I can do it, or I think they're gonna reject me. So I was really, really worried. But then my dad reached out to me and he was like, oh, his friend's daughter got a NIW, she got a green card. And I was like, huh, how are people doing it? So I spoke to her and she was like, yes, it was EB2 and all of other. But she is like in the medicine space. So I was like, oh, it's gonna be easy because doctors and all of all that, it is not very difficult for them to prove a lot of things. And then so I kept on thinking that how am I going to just experience. I really didn't know. I was still doubting it. I still took like 2 3 months after. Then I met a friend, and then she told me that our roommate's husband just got the green card. And I was like, I got into this country before this person. How did this person get their green card before me? And then, she told me that, oh, the person used my green card story. But I was still very skeptical about it because the person hadn't yet received their card. So I was like, until when I see that the person has received their card, then I'll be a believer. And then she told me that yes, the person has received their card. And I was like, okay, you know what? Let me reach out to this person. And that was how I reached out to Mr. Bobola, and then everything just went smoothly from there.
Okay, great. So before you decide, okay, let me backtrack. No, I feel so many people have their reason for filing for green card. Why did you decide to file for a green card?
Because I wanted peace, because I've heard that, the according to what people told me, they were like, oh yeah, if you have F1, you're kind of like under the umbrella of the school. But if you have H1B, that is a different type of, according to what they call it, slavery, because then you are tied to the company. And if your company decides that they no longer want your services, you literally have to find something else within 30 or 60
I
days.
think that 60 days. Yeah.
Yeah, around that range. So you're not exactly free, and you can only work one job. It's not like when you had like the F1 where you can still work like two jobs. I think so with the F1. I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, so when I thought about that, and I was like, what other path is there to freedom? The next stage was the green card, and in which I kept on thinking, how do I get the green card? And some people were like, oh, there's marriage option, there's this one, there's that one, there's asylum. And I was like, I don't qualify for a lot of all this other options. So what is there? And that was when I heard of the EB2-NIW, and they said if you go to school, if you do this. So I was really unsure of my position, because I felt like I haven't accomplished a lot. But then when I spoke to you, and then you made me seem like I'm not as if you made me seem. I think I've always had it in me, but you reading out what I was saying, I was like, huh, I didn't know I was this smart, or I didn't know I had this that I could use for this. And I was thinking I had to go have a PhD for it. So I was really, really, really surprised, and really excited for the journey, because my mind, I was like, I still have my um I'm
H1B,
still under my F1, and I still had, what's the EAD, the
the
OPT. So
OPT
I felt like I was still under some sort of umbrella. So I
Mm.
wasn't like really desperate for it, but I felt like me getting it would be a very good, good feedback. So yeah, that
Okay,
was pretty much the story behind that.
okay, great. So I, I think the first time you reached out to me, send me text a message. Then I
Yeah.
think typically when people send me text message, sometimes I call them or I email them with some information. Then
Yeah.
I told you to come for consultation. Now,
Hmm.
can you tell us how, if coming for consultation with us, if it helped you, and what role did it play in you making your decision to actually file for your EB2 NIW?
So the consultation part was kind of like what I mentioned earlier, because you wanted to know more about me, and a lot of the things that I think I took for granted, that I was just very indifferent about. And you were like, we can use this, we can use that. So having the consultation was very, very good, because I was doubting myself a lot, that I didn't have a lot of things. So the consultation was very helpful, because you did point out to some key things that I can use to make my case. And I something that I wouldn't have thought of it, because I was like, I'll be like, nah, it was just a very minor school program. It wasn't very big. I wasn't like, the president of the school didn't shake my hand to win that award and stuff like that. But these little things were very helpful, which kind of solidified and kind of increased my confidence in applying. So yeah, the consultation was very, very helpful, and it
Okay,
made me like a lot more sure of myself.
okay, great. So now let's talk about the petition. So, one thing about filing for EB2 NIW is that you need to show that you made the three prongs of the matter of Danasa. And people usually show that or demonstrate that they meet those three prompts by drafting a petition cover letter. Some people call it statement of purpose. Some people call it something else, maybe just a letter. And in that letter, that's where we address your purpose endeavor, substantial merit, national importance, well position, and the last part, which is the on the balance section. So, can you tell me the endeavor that you propose for your EB2 NIW or petition?
Yeah, so my like I mentioned earlier, I did work, data science and cybersecurity. So my proposition for the proposed endeavor rather is was that I was going to use AI more or less to kind of to connect and to connect some threats to be able to identify network intrusion and all that. So basically it's just to just uncover hidden patterns, intrusion anomalies, and correlate a large network services, basically just more of networking to kind of figure out network threats before they even exist. And what kind of helped me in the process of the endeavor was because I did do like a project in school where I worked with semantic web, which I kind of focused on classifying botnet, and botnet is kind of like threats in cybersecurity. So what I did was just to work with that to identify and classify them, so you know how to prevent them before they actually come to attack you. So basically, the proposal was just to work on how I can use AI to actually make it easy for you to identify these cases and spot signs of malicious activity before they occur. So that was my project, which I don't. If I get into details, it's a
That's
lot.
fine. Yeah,
I know be very interesting, but
I
yeah,
know.
AI and security, fun. So yeah, that's
Okay.
just a short summary.
How were you able to show that that purpose endeavor has substantial merit and national importance?
We are. This is 2025, and we are in the situation whereby AI is literally everywhere. And the more we use the internet, we all know that, we have these threats around. So my proposal did make a lot of sense, because why everybody has access to the internet is equally as dangerous, because of everyone is having access. So my proposal did make a lot of sense in how we can prevent, data breaches and all that. So identifying the problem before it occurs makes a lot of sense. So I don't see why not. Because it's 2025. AI is everywhere. You want to be able to detect what is real and what is fake.
Well, when it comes to petition cover letter for EB2 NIW, I tell people that it's not really about how many pages you write. It's about what you can prove. Okay? Because I've seen people that write 40 pages, 60 pages, 100. I've actually seen 200 pages. Okay? I think I've seen 250. Okay? You don't need a 60-page petition cover letter to show that you qualify for EB2 NIW. If you have the evidence, just make it simple and short. Okay. So once you have learned is that most people that write a lot of pages, like 80 pages, and I mean, in that range, they don't have the evidence. So they're trying to justify that they're actually well positioned, or that they meet the three prongs of the matter of the answer by writing story in their petition cover letter. Now, as it pertains to you, can you tell us at least three or four key evidence that you use to show that you are well positioned to advance your purpose endeavor? And what role did those evidence play in ensuring that your petition was approved?
Um, I would say the first evidence was that I do have like an advanced degree, which,
Okay.
I did have a master's in information technology. And the other evidence was that currently work in a place where I do get to use my knowledge. So I do work in a place where I get to use AI to work. And the other one was luckily my class project, which I mentioned about using semantic oncology, got published in a book, which it's a very popular book. Trying to remember the name of the book. But yeah, I did get featured in a chapter in the book, and that was very, jeez,
which is
sorry.
a big deal because see, I've spoken to a lot of people in the tech space and they hardly have like peer review publication, not to talk about having a book chapter in the book. Okay. So
Yeah,
when I spoke to you during consultation, I felt that was very impressive.
yeah. The book came as a surprise for me, to me rather, because I thought it was just a small class project, but my supervisor at that time really, really, really believed in me, and then he published the book. I didn't even know that I was there until I started getting, you know, emails mentioning that I do have a chapter in the book, and I was like, really? I didn't know I was this because to have a chapter in the book, a lot of people would have gone through this because you're not just gonna publish something that would not make sense.
Yes.
'Cause a lot of people have their names attached to all these books,
Mm,
and it was a good feeling, and I felt like that was one of the strongest my strongest evidence to me,
evidence.
which was very, very helpful. So yeah, getting the chapter in the book about oncology was very, very helpful.
And I also remember that the book was actually published by a top publisher. I
Yeah.
can't remember the name, but it was a very top.
I'm actually trying to look for the name
But
of the
it was a very top publisher. So that carries a lot of weight because I think nowadays, really in 2025, I've noticed that anytime people say, oh, they publish peer review paper or maybe a book, USS will go and look at the ranking
Yes, it's
of the
it's
publisher.
called semantic intelligence. Is
Mm,
actually a proceeding. The name of the
okay.
book is called
Okay.
semantic
So
intelligence.
so now I have a follow-up question to that concerning your book chapter publication. Then I think you also have like a peer review or publication. So one thing I've noticed about people that are in the tech space is that majority of them do like a non-thesis masters and they don't work on any project at all. I'm sure there's someone watching me right now and the person is enrolled in a master's program and the person is not doing any research. What
I
advice do you have for those people, especially people that are considering filing for either EB2-NIW or EB1A before it's too late? What advice do you have for
Yeah,
them?
same thing I was also worried about because I didn't do thesis too. I had like a project. So even though you do projects, I would recommend also having like other papers, get to work with people because that was very, very important. Pay attention to your class project because this book chapter that I had was not even my project, my final project. It was a class project that my supervisor was really, really proud of, that we did a very good job. So yeah, I would recommend, even though you're still doing a project, try and work on, take your project seriously and your class assignment seriously. You really don't know which class project is going to really help you in the future. So that is the advice I would give. Just work with something or work with somebody that knows something or someone that is doing something. It might take a lot of time and a lot of energy, but it's something you can always bank. You find out that you can bank on it.
Okay. The next question is about the third prong of the matter of Danasa, which is on the balance to benefit the US with the job offer and labor certificate. So one thing that USS wants petitioner and or beneficiary of EB2 NIW to show is that, oh, that the US should waive the requirement of a labor certificate and even a job. So one thing about you is that at the time you file for your petition, you already had a full-time job. And that could be like a two-edged sword. It, it's good in the sense that USS can say, okay, this person already has
Job.
employment in the field of our proposed endeavor, so that's a good thing. However, it could be bad in court because USS can say, how come your employer cannot file a labor certificate for you? So, can you give us an explanation for to that question? Because there are some people right now they are employed, and some people now they have RFE, and in the RFE, USS is asking them that how come your employer cannot file a labor certificate for you?
So I think in my case, I work for a startup, and startups are not really known for, filing for you immediately, because there are a lot of, process that goes into it. It wasn't like a full established company that it's not a big deal for them to go ahead with it. So with startups, they are a lot more critical, and because they are smaller, they won't just do that out of the blue. They're willing to support you for like H1B and the rest, but a green card is a different process. They are smaller, so it is a lot more, I don't know, complicated with them. So
Okay,
I guess it's grace at this point.
okay, okay, great. So now let's talk about the timeline. I know that I spoke about it briefly during the introductory section of this video, but I'd like to go in depth. So can you tell us when you turned in your form I-140 and when your form I-140 was approved?
Okay, so I turned in my I-140 July 2023, and I waited like a year, no response. And then I was like, for peace of mind, because I was worried because my OPT was already coming to an end. And I
Mm.
just wanted to know what the result was going to be. So I decided that I was going to pay for the premium processing, which I don't know if it was a benefit, because I felt like after 1 year, is there a need for it? But just for my peace of mind, I was like, okay, so I paid for it and I got a response like in a week. I think by May or June, they got back to me saying, it has been approved. And that was like 1 week after I've paid for the premium processing,
So
which made me think that it,
exactly.
that
I
were they
think
already going to
they
pay
are
me?
already about to approve it where you gave them
Yeah,
the
that was
money.
how it felt. 'Cause I was like, it didn't take so long. Were you about to approve me and I just dashed you money? So
Yeah.
yeah.
So for people out there thinking, I'm sure there are people thinking why you did not file premium at the beginning. I remember that USS did not
I had
start they did not start premium processing for I-140 until 2023. I think they started around May or so,
I
right?
think it was January. I think it was January
No, it
2020.
wasn't in January because I remember there was someone that filed maybe January or February 2023. They returned the person's petition because they said the person was not eligible for premium processing. I know that they started before the end of the first half of 2023.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
they had actually started premium processing before I submitted, but I
Oh,
felt
okay.
like I still had time.
Mm.
I felt like I still had time. But when about a year has passed and my OPT was looking like it was coming to an end, I started panicking and I was like, maybe I should have done the premium processing. But yes, I feel like if you do have time, there is really no need for a rush. But if you do want peace of mind too, you can decide to just do it, to just get it over with by knowing it. But then there's the only advantage premium processing does have is that you have peace of mind. It doesn't mean that if you pay for premium processing, you get it.
Mm.
And it doesn't mean that because if you pay for premium processing and you are not current, you would still wait the time.
Yeah.
So it's just for premium processing is just for peace of mind. It's not, so if you have time, you can wait it out really.
Okay. Miss Omotola, my last question for the day,
Okay.
or maybe second to the last. There are some people out there, especially people in the tech space, that they would like to file for EB2 NIW. They don't have peer review. They don't have peer review paper. They don't have much. What advice do you have for them?
My advice for them is to start working on a personal project, really. Start working on a personal project, something that you can put on GitHub, something you can share with people, and then because they need someone else in your field to be able to say, yes, this is good. They need a second opinion because the people reading these documents are not tech savvy. So they need someone that is also in that tech space to say, yes, this is good, because they only work with evidence. Because if I'm talking about cybersecurity from today to tomorrow, someone that studied English it would just feel like jargons to the person. But if someone else in my field is like, yes, I agree with this, and they look at the background of the person seems very, well accomplished in that role, they would also agree with it. So I would recommend working on a personal project, something, and sharing it. LinkedIn, somebody linking up with somebody that has a higher profile with you is also very helpful. So working on a personal project and sharing it with people, so you have someone to back up your your personal project, someone that says this is good, this is correct, would be very, very helpful if you don't have any peer review or any books written. That
Okay.
is the advice I would give.
So the last question: what role did my green card story play in helping you to put your petition together?
My green card story was it honestly, it is one of the best decisions I've ever made because, I am not a writer. I don't know how to write to save my life. So I can explain to you, but to put it into writing has never been one of my strong suits. So, working with my green card story, the process, the follow up, every single thing was great from the very beginning. I was really worried because I felt like I know I was going to pay a lot of money. And then I've heard a lot of people say that after, you submit your petition, the deal with them is over. But my green card story was a different case. Like I got up to date, you know, I got notified every single time. Even when I got became current, I didn't even know I was current. I got a mail from my green card story saying now is the time for you to file, literally listing every single document I need to have. And I didn't with links to the place. So I didn't even need to start searching or researching for all these things. I already got a mail stating every single thing. So it was just like on a click on a button. And the follow-ups were very, very, very helpful because I ran into a very funny situation during my
Which we'll talk about in the next
during
episode.
my
Okay.
process. And it was very crazy, but I was super happy that, my green card story was there because I was spiraling. I didn't know what to do. I was panicking and I was really, really worried, but everything turned out really great. So yeah, my green card story is very, very great, not just for the writing part, but the fact that they follow up with you up until the end is what makes it different from other people.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Miss Omotola, and thank you so much, everyone, for watching us. Please make sure you subscribe to this channel, share it, and drop a comment, and also like it, so that the YouTube algorithm would recommend this video to other people out there that are looking for information on EB2-NIW or EB money. If you want
Yeah.
to reach out to us, our contact information is in the description section of this video. And also, our website is www.mygreencardstory.com. Email is info@mygreencardstory.com. See you, everyone. Bye.
Right.